You know what makes me so mad? The fact that 250 billion animals are slaughtered every year on this planet for humans to consume meat. And we're so disconnected from that fact that we don't even realize that these animals that we're killing are just like us. We're related to them. We share vast amounts of DNA, like 90% of our DNA is the exact same as all the animals on this planet. Our consciousness is the same, it comes from the same wellspring of divine consciousness. All consciousness comes from the same place. We all are born and die. We all have brains, nervous systems, emotions, the sense of love, family, belonging. We can see that in the animal kingdom, that they exhibit the same love for their family members and their friends, and yet we kill 250 billion of these animals every single year for our choice to eat meat. Well, it's my choice. I get to eat meat, right? But that choice has a victim. Choosing to eat other ways doesn't have a victim. So when your choice includes a victim, then I don't know if it's actually correct or accurate to call it a choice. It's a consequence, it's an action and a consequence. And what is the consequence of killing 250 billion animals a year on this planet? What is the consequence of that? Well, we're going to be psychologically traumatized, for one, because we're all related. We're cannibalizing our own relatives, and we're going to suffer psychologically because of it. And we're going to suffer on unimaginable levels. We're going to be diseased. We're going to be in pain, sorrow, shame, misery, guilt, violence, and we might not even see it. It might be completely invisible to us because we're indoctrinated with the pain of the death and the suffering. 250 billion animals a year suffering at the hands of humanity is going to have an effect on our consciousness, whether we realize it or not. And we don't realize it because most people do eat meat unconsciously and are not aware of the suffering their choice causes. And it's completely out of balance. There's no balance in the way we consume 250 billion animals per year. That's not a food chain. That is insanity. So humans are acting insane, pretending that we're not insane, and having the results that we're insane: depression and misery and anger and violence and war and terrorism. And yet we don't even look to the first, most fundamental principle of all life, which is what we put in our mouths, how we treat ourselves, how we treat our body, through how we eat, and through how we make choices to love ourselves in a non-violent way. When we eat clean, healthy plants grown in the sun, filled with electromagnetic sunlight energy, designed by God for our health and our well-being, we're not taking the death, the suffering, and the anger and the violence into our body. So I think it's time for humanity to take some responsibility for these insidious violent acts, these invisible violent acts, these invisible ideologies of violence that have destroyed the psyche of humanity and destroyed the psyche of all sentient beings on planet Earth. So it's time to wake up and make different choices. And that makes me mad.